Welcome back to Best Quote Podcast. In this episode, I'll be talking about identifying your key constraints. Identifying the key constraints can also be referred to or kind of seen as identifying your limiting beliefs. But it's not necessarily all about belief in this case, because whatever thing is constraining you or stopping you from achieving that goal that you want to achieve or getting to that level that you want to achieve, sometimes it is a belief, sometimes it's actually a physical factor that you actually have to work to remove or eliminate from the path. So it depends whichever one it is. But in this case now, the issue here is identifying what it is, because if you don't know that you have a problem, if you don't know there is an issue, if you don't know that a particular thing needs to be checked, then how can you really overcome that? So unless you know, so how do you identify that? That is the problem. A lot of people don't know when they actually have an issue. A lot of people don't actually know that they have issues. I mean, sometimes you'll be discussing with someone and then you point out something that you observed in them and be like, okay, this thing that you generally do, I don't think this is helping you. I think if you did something like this, it might actually help you better or do better for you. And they'll be like, I didn't even notice, I didn't even think of it that way, which is actually normal. Sometimes certain things are not within our purview, or we have a blind spot that we don't understand, or we don't see what is happening in a particular light unless someone brings it to our notice, which is okay. So in this case, you have to find out what is that. If it means you asking someone, maybe there's a goal you want to achieve that you're not achieving it, there's something you want to do, there is a particular level you want to get to that you're not getting to, maybe in your job, maybe in your finance, maybe in your relationship, maybe in whatever thing you are doing, there's a particular level you want to get to or particular thing you want to achieve or you're not achieving. I think you should be asking yourself, what is the constraint? What is the key constraint that's stopping you from getting that? Is it my belief, or is it the people I have around me, or is it my attitude, my character, my whatever thing? You have to find out, and finding out means you have to ask those hard questions. The hard questions that sometimes we know but we don't want to ask it, or even if we ask it we don't want to answer it because we are scared. We like our comfort zone. We don't want to anything that's going to rock the boat, so we want to just stay where we are. So for that reason, you will not ask the question, and even if you do ask it by mistake, you will not want to answer it exactly the way you want to answer it. So really, it's about accountability. You holding yourself accountable for whatever situation that you are right now, whatever experiences you have. And I know somewhere, maybe like if you are from Africa, like I'm a Nigerian, and we know what it is in Nigeria. Sometimes when you are not achieving what you want to achieve or what you set out to achieve, you will start thinking in terms of religion, in terms of superstition and all of that, thinking people are after you, people are actually using some magic power to stop you or prevent you from achieving your goal, which is understandable, and I don't detest that, I don't refuse that, I don't say it's not possible. But I'm saying, when you take that out of the equation on your own part, what is it you are not doing yet, or what is it that is holding you back based on what you are doing? So if you are talking about financing, if you are worried about your finance, and you want to get to a level of financial freedom, you want to have more money so that you can be able to take care of yourself and your family, you should ask yourself, what exactly are you doing to achieve that goal, and what is stopping you from achieving that goal? For example, you're talking about financial freedom, you're talking about money, and you don't have any business, you are not working, or even if you are working, you are spending more than you are earning. Or if you have a job, if you have a business, you are not promoting that business as much as you should, and so you are not getting sales, so the business is not profitable. Those are the questions you should be asking yourself. So if you know what it is that you want to achieve, if you know what it is your objective is, then you will not be able to identify that constraint, that thing that is stopping you from achieving that. And this can also happen, maybe take for example in businesses, you might have a business that is not doing very well. Maybe the sales is not that up, and then you are worried about the sales, but you know what the problem is, but you are not fixing it, but yet you keep complaining you are not making sales. Maybe you are not actually advertising your business enough. Maybe you are not actually using the opportunities that is available for you, like social media. Maybe you are not employing the strategy of social media influencing. Maybe you are not paying enough for your ads, or maybe you are just not showing up. Now, some people might have a business, and if you work with artisans sometimes and you see the way they act, you'll be surprised that a lot of them are actually not serious. Some of them they're actually not successful. It's mind-boggling to see what is actually going wrong in their business strategy. Some people, like say carpenter, whatever thing that person is doing, sometimes you see them not showing up to work, or a mechanic, you see them not showing up to work. And I'm talking about the location where I am. You see them not showing up to work, and when you ask them, be like, yeah, they have their number written on there on their shop, so if someone comes there and they didn't see them, that person should call them. Person call them, they will come and do the job or whatever thing. And I wonder, is that really how it's supposed to be? And then that same person will come out tomorrow and start complaining that, oh, there is no job, there is no business, money is not anywhere, and they're suffering, and then it affects them, their family, because they start getting increasingly tempered because they don't have the finance to be able to run their family the way it's supposed to. So those are the things that someone should actually identify, that someone should actually look to identify. What is that constraint? What is stopping you? There is something, and a lot of times we don't know what it is. We know, to be sincere, we know, but we don't want to accept it. And sometimes we are being naive and thinking that, oh, it can't be that, it has to be something else. Because there's this thing about the 80-20 rule that Brian Tracy used the analogy in one of his books, talking about when you have constraint like that, a lot of times sometimes 80% of that constraint is internal and 20% is external. So 80% of the reason why that constraint is there, the reason why you are not achieving that goal is internal. So you have to look inward within yourself. What is it that you are not doing? How is your attitude toward achieving that goal? Who is it that you are not connecting with? What is your social network like? And all these, those are things that you need to check first before you start wondering, okay, or before you start straining, or before you start going out and thinking, okay, the policies of the government is not right, the location of my business is not right, and things like, yes, those things can actually be true, they are factual, but a lot of times it has to do with your own internal belief first. So if you're able to deal with your own internal struggles, your own internal belief and system, then the one external can actually be dealt with very easily. Sometimes even in bad economy, businesses still thrive. Even in bad location, businesses still thrive. I mean, you can attest to that. I don't know where you're listening to this from, but you can attest there are some businesses you see, like, in your mind, you'll be thinking, why is this business able to succeed based on the location? Why is this business succeeding? Sometimes you'll be complaining that the economy is bad, there's no money in circulation, the inflation rate, and all the things like that. There's no loan for businesses, but yet businesses are thriving. People are opening up branches. So sometimes the main thing you need to focus is internal. So if you're able to deal with that internal factor, the one external, you can always work around it. But if you continue to stay naive and not believing or agreeing that that thing has to be solved, or that there is a problem, there's a constraint that needs to be removed or abolished, if you still don't believe that, or if you are pushing it over to other people and believing someone is after your life, someone is after your business or your success, then it will be difficult for you to resolve that problem, and that constraint will continue to be there. So first thing that you should pick out from this whole thing I'm talking about right now is being accountable, taking accountability of your life, taking accountability of your achievement, taking accountability of whatever thing you are achieving or whatever thing you want to achieve. If you have a mind that whatever thing you are going for, you can always get it. That's the positive mindset that you have to have. If you have that in mind first, I guarantee you have to find a way. You always find a way to achieve that. But if you don't even believe in achieve that, then that constraint will always be there. Whatever thing you've placed in front of you as that constraint, whatever excuse that you've given yourself to be that constraint, then it will continue to be there and will not move out. So you always have to be conscious of that. If you are not achieving your goal, if you are not meeting up with the objective that you set out for yourself, what is the constraint that is holding me back? Is it my mindset, my attitude, my character, my location? Those things that you have to take everything into consideration to be able to determine what is the right move for you to take, to be able to remove or eliminate that constraint so that you can achieve your goal. And also, you also have to be careful that you don't jump into conclusions very quickly. I mean, there are situations whereby people have issues and they jump to a conclusion of what the problem is without actually finding out exactly, without actually making a proper analysis or troubleshooting the situation and finding out what the problem is. Now, when that happens, it means you'll be treating the wrong illness, and that doesn't solve your problem. Because you've seen issues whereby maybe, for example, in relationships, people are lying to themselves, and you and your partner, for example, you are lying to yourself about a particular situation. Maybe what you want from a relationship is different, and what your partner wants from a relationship is different. But you guys are trying to trick yourself. You're thinking, okay, maybe I just tell her enough what she wants to hear, and she also feels maybe I just give him enough what he wants to say, and then I can get this and all of that. And then you find out that you're always arguing, you're always fighting, and you know the root cause of that, because you know that this person is not the right person for you. You know for sure you don't like this particular thing about that person, but you are not showing it up. You're not talking about it. You're not spilling it. You're not being accountable to say, okay, this is what I actually want from you, and I know that you can't give me this, but if you can give me this, I'm okay with this. I think once that is laid out on the table and people know what is expected of them, people know that, okay, this is what my partner actually wants, this is what this person wants, I think it solves the problem a good percentage of the time. It doesn't mean that it will always completely solve the problem, but at least you have a foot in the door to solving the problem. This is what I actually think about this, and I do hope that this helps someone out there. So if you are listening to this on podcast, I really appreciate it. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please check out other videos, like, subscribe, and of course share this with a friend you don't know with my help. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next one.